Hello, superfans. Welcome to Alberta News and Views and the Alberta Report podcast on YouTube. Everything behind Mark Carney in this shot is fake. All these people are brought in, the building, everything. It was staged to look like houses were being built, all for his housing announcement in Nepean. It was all torn down after. This is some epic propaganda. That is exactly what this is. Brian says, dude, I was there. That's exactly what happened. It was a freshly graded gravel lot with no utilities or services run. I was discussing this very topic with other reporters covering it. They didn't even move the crane or remove the lifting apparatus. They just repurposed it to hold a gigantic Canadian flag. Seriously. Using taxpayer dollars to sell an idea. This government is tone deaf. They have absolutely no idea how hard it is out there. I'm telling you right now, Mark Carney's his approval right in this very moment is tanking. The Liberals are jumping ship or moving positions. They are distancing themselves because they know when this budget slams down, it's going to be a disaster. I think a lot of the politicians signed back on with the Liberal Party just to get their pensions. There's actually quite a few leftovers that were just shy of securing their golden pension. So now they're just hanging around until they can get it. Anyway, that's all speculation. What do I know? I'm no expert. Moving on, though, from Michael Cooper. Investigation launched. Conservatives have launched a probe into Carney's massive conflicts of interest. The Ethics Committee will review ethics laws to close loopholes Carney is taking advantage of, including fake screens, blind trusts, and his use of tax havens. Stay tuned. Do you honestly think anything is going to get done with this? I have been reporting on this exact stuff for years now, and I am waiting for justice. I am waiting for Larry Brock to just go full bulldog on this justice system in Canada, or lack thereof. The Larry Brock, Leslyn Lewis, these great politicians, they need an opportunity to be in power so they can just go full doge on Canada. All roads lead to Western independence. I'm telling you, if I ever got in a position of power in Alberta with independence, I'd be like, I'm not going in this alone. I need Larry. I need Larry Brock and Leslyn Lewis. We're going to town. We're going to bring justice back. Anyway, moving on from Warren Kinsella. This whole Jimmy Kimmel thing is just getting ridiculous in Canada. They're, oh, poor Jimmy. Oh, poor Jimmy. No, it isn't like that. Conservatives defending / celebrating censoring Jimmy Kimmel and others. I used to believe you guys when you said you believed in freedom of speech. Jimmy Kimmel broke policy law. I'm going to show you in a sec. I won't make that mistake again. What about Don Cherry? This is Warren Kinsella talking about Don Cherry. I didn't care about Don Cherry before this week. I care even less now. Enough already, Jesus. Seriously, Don Cherry said nothing, not even anything even close to what Jimmy Kimmel did. Nobody in Canada cares. Canadians are in a bubble. Candace Malcolm, she says, no one believes in consequence-free speech. Quote, Kimmel used his platform to peddle a vicious lie. That's right. Since when do liberals defend political disinformation? That's exactly what it was. From the Redhead Libertarian. She has great stuff too, by the way. I highly recommend you follow her. She says, Jimmy Kimmel didn't get pulled for being, quote, mean to the right, end quote. He was pulled because he knowingly made a false statement, violating the FCC's rules, I imagine against defamation, and then refused to issue a statement / apology about it. He risked ABC's license and got put in timeout indefinitely. But this statement right here, he risked ABC's license. There's a lot of production companies, producers, deleting stuff and really questioning who their team is. Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, The View. So this is only in the United States. If Trump actually follows through with what he's saying, and he's going to start canceling visas and stuff like that for people that are spreading lies about Charlie Kirk, well, you can kiss the CBC and Carnage Media Corp goodbye in Canada. It was absolutely disgusting what they were saying. And all of the politicians too, by the way, and journalists in Canada. They're not going to be able to travel if Donald Trump is serious. The redhead libertarian, she goes into detail right here. The commission's prohibition against the broadcast of hoaxes is set forth in section blah of the commission's rules blah. This rule prohibits broadcast licensees or permittees from broadcasting false information concerning a crime or a catastrophe. That is why Jimmy Kimmel is now gone. The licensee knows this information is false. He knew this. It is foreseeable that broadcast of the information will cause substantial public harm. Yes. Broadcast of the information does in fact directly cause substantial public harm. Yes, yes, and yes. Now you know why. So anything you hear in Canada about poor Jimmy Kimmel, he brought this upon himself, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the left or the right or politics. He broke broadcasting laws, just like a lot of them did that very day. So you can expect more fallout to follow. Continuing on. Breaking news from Table Salt. Give Table Salt a follow. He too has really great stuff. United States ambassador to Canada gets increasingly vocal about, quote, elbows up campaign. Elbows up. It was an anti-American campaign. It was disappointing, and it has continued. And it has stained the relationship, to say the least. And by the way, for all of you out there that don't know, Mark Carney, the media is saying Mark Carney gets a win because he's in Mexico and he signed this deal with Mexico and trade to diversify Canada's economy. Mexico is like irrelevant in the grand scheme of things with trade in Canada. It's great, yes, but the United States is like over 80% of Canada's trade. Why isn't Mark Carney focused on mending this relationship with Donald Trump? It is a strange anomaly, and it will ripple through the Canadian economy more so than it already has. It's crazy. Anyway, listen to what the U.S. ambassador has to say about Canada and the elbows up.
Thing that was probably, the most unexpected, and we're going to get right into the meat of the stuff that we want to talk about today. Okay. I'm disappointed that I came to Canada, a Canada that it is very, very difficult to find Canadians who are passionate about the American-Canadian relationship. Okay? You ran a campaign where, it was anti-American, elbows up, me too. It was an anti-American campaign. That has continued. That's disappointing. I talked to a lot of business people. They are passionate about the relationship because they recognize rebuilding ecosystems and rebuilding the kind of economic relationships that we have. As some people talk about, we'll go other places. It's kind of like, that's hard. Plus, this one works pretty well. We've created a lot of prosperity and wealth, high quality, high paying jobs by working together on both sides of the border. Like I said, I'm passionate for it. The business community is passionate for it, but they're not very public about it.
Absolutely. Nobody in Canada can deny that the United States has not built massive prosperity in Canada. How does Canada have a prime minister that moves assets to the United States right before he becomes prime minister? So right now, he still has these assets in the United States that he has recused himself of, so nobody knows the conflict of interest too, by the way. But we have a prime minister who literally moved his business dealings to the United States because he knows it would be safer and better and more profitable than in Canada, while at the same time bashing the very country that he moved everything to. The hypocrisy and the ridiculous is front and center, and it's crazy that he actually still has a following with this elbows up. And on top of that, he is still blaming Donald Trump for inflation, probably for his garbage budget, for everything going on. He blames the United States, blames Donald Trump for it. When Canada has been in a tailspin and absolute free fall during the Biden administration, even before Donald Trump. So really, everything that the Liberal Party in Canada is saying is ridiculous and harmful to trade. The ambassador is literally saying it's hard to find just good old-fashioned patriotism for Canada and the United States and in just loving that trade relationship. But one thing he didn't say, and I'll say this right now, all roads lead to Western independence. He put out a post today that says, "Thank you, Calgary, for standing with us." So while Canada shits on Calgary for holding their vigil for Charlie Kirk, the ambassador to the United States says thank you. He has found a friend, and it is in Alberta. He's got a lot of friends in Alberta and Saskatchewan. All roads lead to Western independence. You get that movement going, you're going to see a lot of support from people in very powerful positions. Love it. This is on Fox News. Calgary singing the U.S. national anthem, not booing it like they do in the East. Anyway, moving on. Today, the Green Party leader, I don't even know if she's leader anymore. Last I heard, she's trying to become leader. Elizabeth May, Green Party Elizabeth May. She trashed Donald Trump. You can go on my channel and watch the video, the press conference. She said, the Donald Trump is a dictator because of what he did with Jimmy Kimmel, blah, blah, blah. Just a crazy events of things happening in the United States, freedom of speech, blah, 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 everything, blah, blah, blah. It's just doom and gloom. What they don't tell you in Canada is while Donald Trump is in the UK right now, he had a crazy turnout from the British. And this is King Charles walking behind Donald Trump with all of the guards. It's
I think
unreal.
It's a real statement by the king and by the senior members of the royal family. I mean, it's very rare they all get together.
This is Piers Morgan, by the way, too. He's saying this is very rare that they all get together like this to honor a world leader.
Like this for a visit by a foreign leader. They're doing it to make a point. I think they recognize the world feels a little bit precarious right now. You have two raging wars in Ukraine and in Gaza. Yeah. And you have a lot of people, particularly since the appalling murder of Charlie Kirk, I think are feeling very...
The contrast is insane. It really is. From Canada to the rest of the world. They need to stop with this Trump nonsense. The world is embracing him. Donald Trump is listing, and just released this last night, that the United States is listing Antifa as a terrorist organization. Today, Canada said it's absurd. Then the Dutch did the exact same thing. So now on media tonight, another wave, another blast of breaking news headlines. What is Antifa? What do they stand for? So now Canada is painting the narrative of what Antifa is. It's ridiculous. So what's going to happen if Canada doesn't list Antifa as a terrorist organization? Here is Kash Patel. I believe this was from today, saying America's new terrorism threat isn't Mexico. It's Canada. It's crazy what could happen. Western independence could happen. Then we don't have to worry about this.
Our northern border. It's largely expansive. The enemy has adapted, and we need more focus on the northern border to stop known or suspected terrorists from coming in from places like China, Russia, the Middle East, Africa, Afghanistan.
And what can you tell us about the remaining threat posed by potential terrorist cells here in the United States?
The terrorist threat that continues to be posed by international terrorists here in the United States is one of my highest priorities. We are working through our intelligence community partners to identify those individuals, and we've taken down numerous individuals in numerous rings across this country to neutralize that terrorist threat, including in places like New York City, Los Angeles, and I believe Dallas, Texas, most recently.
How extensively did criminal cartels like Sinaloa, Jalisco, New Generation, MS-13
You know, when I hear Kash Patel say we need to start looking at our borders and what's going on, my brain always defaults back to Alberta, driver's license, passport, digital wallet. It's going to happen to the point where we can get Western independence and create an outstanding relationship with the United States so we can have free travel. Or there's going to be a beep beep at the border with your driver's license, and it's going to have everything on it. A lady actually commented and sent me a message about when I was talking about Danielle Smith and the digital wallet and our driver's license. She said when you input your WIN number to get a hunting license and stuff, it's all connected already, even under your WIN number. So what she was saying is, what's going to happen when you can just go to a local grocery store or gas station, whatever, put in your WIN number, and is it all going to be connected on, or like, is just some snot-nosed kid going to have your driver's license, your address, your business number, like absolutely everything on there? They keep on saying everything is secure, but right now it's pretty much all out in the open, and we're still getting record identity theft. It's crazy. Moving on from Dr. Leslyn Lewis. She says, newly released emails confirm the Liberals misled Parliament. Hold the phone. What, doctor? There's no way the Liberals would mislead Parliament. What could this be? BC Ferries warned the minister's office 6 weeks before the Chinese Ferries deal, yet she claimed she was blindsided. At the same time, staff in the Prime Minister's office were plotting how to spin a $1 billion infrastructure bank loan that shipped Canadian tax dollars and jobs straight to China. Unbelievable. Check this out.
Was misled. New emails show that BC Ferries warned the former Minister of Transport's officials 6 weeks before announcing that the ferries would be built in China. Wow. Yet, the minister stood in this House of Commons and claimed that she was blindsided. At the same time, her staff was working with the Prime Minister's office on how to spin this billion-dollar deal. Wow. Canadians just want to know the truth. Why did the Liberals ship Canadian tax dollars and jobs straight to China?
The Honourable Minister for Housing and Infrastructure.
Again, I don't know why this is so confusing for the members opposite. This is a BC Ferries procurement. BC Ferries makes decisions about where they buy their ships, and that decision rests with those at BC Ferries. Mr. Speaker, we can do our part to invest in Canadian jobs, Canadian workers. We are focused on a Buy Canada strategy, and we will deliver for Canadian workers.
Heard it all before. You know what would look really good? Like right there? An Alberta pin. Right there. Or a Alberta 51st. Something like that. Could you imagine Leslyn Lewis in the legislature if Alberta was sovereign, a country, or a state? Her, Larry Brock, saying things like, we want justice. There's going to be justice, blah, blah, blah. We're going to get our tax dollars back from Canada for what they stole from Alberta. Stuff like that. It would be absolutely epic. Moving on from Lisa Robinson. So let me get this straight. Canada sends billions of your tax dollars to Ukraine. And now Chrystia Freeland quits cabinet to become Canada's special envoy for Ukraine reconstruction. Lisa Robinson gets it. Call me crazy, but shouldn't Canadians be asking some serious questions about who is overseeing this money and where it's actually going? Yes, Canadians should be asking questions, but it goes up into the liberal cloudosphere of nothingness. What was it? $100 million went to making gender rice in Vietnam or Africa? When you get government money getting sent overseas to absolutely ridiculous causes, you can guarantee there's another liberal on the other end of that line, collecting it and holding it, keeping it safe, like an NGO. It's crazy. Ending with Holly Doan. Global Affairs Canada Minister Anita Anand will not tell Parliament what groups her department is financing in Gaza. Let me say that to you again. Anita Anand is not telling Parliament what groups she is financing in Gaza. Anand invoked, quote, confidentiality in refusing a request by one MP to detail who has received taxpayers' aid under little-known Canada Fund for Local Initiatives. It's a blob. The only way to get rid of the blob is to get out of the blob first, with independence, creating a constitution, complete reform, and a government built by the people, for the people, electing regular people, just like you and I, to actually build a country, a society, a community, an entity that is reflective of who we are and what we want moving forward as a species, a human race. The only race, the human race. There is only one. To get rid of the absolute ridiculousness that is the gender ideology and the race wars, to get rid of all of that stuff. The only way you can do it, is with breaking away from a corrupt system. It's the only way. It's going to get worse because it can't get better, because the problems, the common denominators are still there. I'm going to leave it at that. I will keep you updated, though, with as much as I can when I can. All of you out there, like, share, and take care.